Well, hello everybody. It's been a while since I've done a video, but LiPULS, I think I'm saying that right, reached out and asked if I would do a review on their battery. This is a lithium iron phosphate 200 amp hour battery, and couldn't think of a reason why not to, so they shipped it to me. So I'm going to do an unboxing. I'm going to go do an initial charge on it, see how much capacity it's shipped with, and then also I'm going to charge my Model Y with it, see what kind of amperage and watt hours we can get pulled out of the battery. And then happy to do any other testing or configuration or uses you guys could think of. So in the comments, feel free to put them down below and try to do some different testing and configurations. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing opened up and we'll see what she looks like. So just got shipped here, and I'll go ahead and open this up. Looks like it is packaged well. I had somebody say they don't want to watch a video where I'm holding the camera, so I said you guys are more than welcome to come here and hold it for me. This is real live unboxing, and looks like they've got some foam up here. This is a huge battery. So normally these guys are like 100 amp hour. This is a 200 amp hour. And I think the BMS is 200 amps as well. So I think when we do the car, I'm gonna, well, I might end up maxing out the inverter I've got. I do have a big inverter over there, but it's 24 volt. So I'm just thinking in my head how I could max this guy out. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this pulled out here. This is the kind of some Q&As. So it looks like a 5-year warranty. Looks like pretty good battery. Here's some specs on it. Read them real quick. So 12.8 volts. So that's typical for LifePo4. It's got 200 amp hour in it. Capacity at 40 amp is 300 minutes. I think that's kind of from the lead acid type thing. So energy is 2,560 watt hours. Self-discharge, so less than 3% a month. It's got prismatic cells. It weighs 52 pounds. And those are the dimensions there. So 8.5 tall, 9 inches wide, and 20.5 inches long. Recommended charge current, 40 amp. Maximum charge current, 200. So that's quite a bit, which for a 200 amp battery, 200 amps, that's getting you, I think that's going to be some big wire to pull. I do have some wire up top here. It's freaking thick. So you start pulling 200 amps of power, that's a lot. Charge voltage is 14.6. BMS charge cutoff, so 14.6, a cell. So you could do 4P4S. So it's a lot of batteries. Continuous discharge current, 200 amps. Like I said before, I was trying to figure out how you could do that. I don't think I have a way to pull 200 amps off this. I'll give it some thought. BMS discharge, 450 amp, plus or minus 20 amp for 31 milliseconds. So probably not going to be shutting that guy off if it goes to 450 amps for a half a second. Discharge cutoff, 10 volt, short circuit. So pretty big dude. So what I'm going to do, since this is 50 pounds, I'm going to probably put this on the floor and then pick it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick my Victron charger on it. Probably need to set for a day, and we'll see how many watt hours it takes to charge it up, which will kind of show what it's shipped with. But they probably ship with between 40 and 60%, so 40 to 60% of 200 amps, kind of what my guess is. So there it is out of the box. They give you these little handles, which It said 50 pounds. I think because of the size and the two handles, it didn't really feel that heavy. Some of the 100 ampers feel heavier, I guess, probably because I'm lifting it with one hand, but didn't really seem too bad. Again, this is from LiPULS, lithium pulse. So thank you for letting me test this out. 200 amp BMS, 2,560 watt hours. It's got the typical plastic case. It feels nice and solid. It's got these little rubber boots over the contacts there. Got another set of bolts here. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is go ahead and get my charger out, and we'll put a charge on it and see what it takes. Well, I went ahead and hooked up my Victron charger. It's only 5 amp, so it'll probably take a while. This does say that the BMS shuts off at 14.6. It says less than 14.6. So I set the charger to go to 14.5. So we'll see if it'll get up that high. 14, that's pretty damn high anyway. So I'm going to 14.5. There may be like a 1 watt difference. By the time that curve goes up that high, the amount of amps that you're sticking the battery is minimal. So we'll go ahead and let that charge. I'll show on the screen when I come back at what it shut off at. So this will probably, I'm thinking, take at least a day and see where it is. So real quick, this is the inverter I'm going to use. So at 1500 watts, if I keep it at that, and let's say that we maintain 12.8 volts, that's only 117 amps. So I'm not even anywhere near that BMS. So I think I'll be able to run this charger up to whatever this will cut off at. I don't know I'm thinking 1500's continuous. So I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but this is the wire. It's freaking huge. I think I can handle 200 amps probably through there. And this is what will show how much amps is actually drawn through for when we do the car. But yeah, I don't know how to test the 200 amps. I don't have anything. The only way is if I got another battery and I connected it to this big guy. I think she's 3,500 watts. So that would definitely do it. But that's a lot of amps at 12 volts. So at any rate, we'll go ahead and we'll let this guy charge and come back in a day or so. All right, so I couldn't leave it alone. I had a math teacher that said life is a story problem. We made fun of him, but he's right. So if this is a 200 amp hour battery, and this says it's shipped with 30 to 50%, so if we say 40%, that means it's shipped with 80 amp hours inside, which means we need to charge for 120 amps in it. And if my charger is only 5 amp hour, then 120 over 5 is it will take 24 hours. And so I think it is 12 o'clock. So if that's right, we'll, I won't be here tomorrow at 12, but we will check in when I get back and we'll see how many amp hours put in there. So I'm looking at 120 amp hours going in there. So, well, it's a few days later, but I'll show you on the screen up here. Got 118.4 amps. So I was pretty close to putting 120 in it. So what I'm gonna do is get this unplugged and I'll get the car set up and we'll run it and drain this guy down, charging my car, see how many miles I can get. All right, guys, well, I got the battery fully charged. So theoretically, so it's got a 200 amp limit. This is a 1500 watt inverter, so I can't max the battery out. It has a theoretical 2,560 watt hours. This is rated at 1500 watts. So what I'm gonna do is set the car at 11 amps. And so 11 amps times 120 volts is 1,320 watts. So that gets that below that. And if you divide that by a nominal voltage of 12.8 volts, that means that this is going to pull 108 amps through the cables. So theoretically, if that battery has 2,560 watts in it and we pull 1,320 watt hours out, it should run for a little shy of 2 hours. And my car, if I get an average of, it's less than 300 watts per mile, that means from 2,560 watts from the battery, it should increase by 8.5 miles. And so right now the car shows 219 miles and 76%. I don't trust that much, I guess. So what I'm gonna do is, I also have this guy on here, and this says 13 volts. So what'll happen is this will end up shutting down when that voltage drops to a certain level, and it'll drain that battery about as much as I can. This is gonna go ahead and track the energy that's pulled out. So what I'm gonna do is get my Tesla charger hooked up. It's hooked up to the inverter. Go ahead and hook the inverter to the battery and then connect it. I've already set my car to pull a max of 11 amps, which is the 1,320 watts. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. All right, so I have this connected. This is rated at 175 amps. So I'm only gonna be pulling only 103 amps through there. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. This should juice up my Tesla charger. This is probably, it's saying I'm pulling 7 watts right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the car connected. Crap, I had to pull this through here. There we go. All right, so get that connected. What it's gonna do is go ahead and connect. This should go up to the current. So the current pulling through there should be 100 and, I calculated it at 103 amps. So that says 105. The voltage is dropped down to 13 volts. So there we go. So it's, I said 1320. It's at 1400 watts. So that's still below the inverter. Just didn't want to hurt my inverter. So that's 108. I may drop it down to 10 amps on the car, because I want that 1400 to drop down. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop my car to 10, and we'll see what that does. So I dropped the car to 10, so that looks better. So 10 is 100 amps at 1,277 watts. So I like that factor of safety a lot better. It will mean that because I'm at 1270, it'll be 2 hours. And so it is 12:15. I'm gonna go ahead and write the voltages down at the certain levels here and see what we get. The car is saying it is pulling 110 volts there, 10 hours to charge, and it doesn't give me a miles per hour, but I got that written down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and write this down and pick up here in maybe every 30 minutes for the next 2 hours. All right, so it's about 30 minutes later, 12:45, and we are at 100 amps, 12.8 volts, 1,289 watts, and we've put in 660 watt hours. So, got an hour and a half left. So this thing is, it's not really screaming, but it's putting out some heat. The car should be pulling, so it says 77%, 110 volts. It says plus 0 kilowatt hours, which should be right because we're only 677. So yeah, I'm glad I only put that at 1200 watts. So check back in another half hour, which will be an hour total. All right, so we're coming back out here at 1:15. See where she is. So we are at 1:15. We are 12.72 volts, 101 amps. Got 1357 watts total. 1357 watts, and we are running at 1287. So 1287. So we've pulled 1357 out in 1 hour. So we'll come check back in one more, or another half hour. All right, so we are, what is it, 1.5 hours in. It's 1:45 or pretty close to it. So we're down to 12.58 volts, 102 amps. Still pulling 1,292 watts, and we've pulled almost 2,000 watts out, watt hours, watts, whatever, out of here. So gonna mark it down and probably come back in 20 minutes. So just wanted to show you at the different times. So after we've pulled almost 2,000 watts, we are down to 12.58 volts, and we started at 12.86, then 12.8 after 600 watts, 12.72 at 1357, and then we've really started to drop here as we got to 2,000. And so we've got 2,500 left. So in about a half an hour, or we've got 2,500, in about a half an hour it'll be 600. So that's why I want to check back in about 20 minutes and see where we are. I think, so typically what will happen is the voltage will start dropping quite a bit, and then this, out of safety, will drop off. And so that's kind of what I've used on all the other batteries to see how many amps I can pull out of the battery and charge my car. Might as well put all that amps, watts somewhere, right? All right, we're rounding third on this thing. Still chugging. We are at 205. We've pulled, all right, 2,400 watts. We are at 12.3 volt and 105 amp and pulling 1,300 watts. So it's just a math problem, right? As the voltage in the battery goes down, to pull the same wattage, you're gonna pull more current. So I'm gonna stick around out here and watch it as it goes down. Like I said, it's tracked 2,417 of 2560. All right, folks, we are at 2554, 12.06. So I think we're going to hit the capacity. So it's 2560. So there's 2560 and we're at 12.04 volts. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep it on here. We're probably going to start dropping quite a bit the voltage. Yeah, we're already at 12. At some point the inverter's going to start popping. It's going to start beeping there and we'll get a final wattage taken out. You can see we're at 11.97 volts, so we're at 108, 109 amps, still around the 1,307 watts being pulled out of there. So it started at 1277 and we're now, what, 13? So we pulled another 30, except some of that could be the fans as well. But we've reached the capacity mark. I don't know. I think I'll turn this back on when the inverter starts beeping. Well, she's still running. So 2,637. You can see it count. 2640. It's at 11.3 volts. So she's still going. We're almost at 100 watts over the rated capacity. We'll keep pulling. It's not even beeping yet. I guess just because it's a bigger battery. All right, now she's beeping. So really starting to drop that voltage. So 11, so we're 26. I'm gonna shut off here anytime. There it goes, 2683. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut everything down and put it on a charger. I'll write down the numbers and kind of sum it up here. All right, so before I kind of zip it up here, so the car, it's reading 79%, 226 miles. So I got 7 miles, that's what the car says. But I've put 2660 in there over 3, so I got around, I think it's about 9 miles really. So I don't know, it's kind of, if you had this battery full charged and that inverter, it'd take 2 hours, but you could go, I bet you could get 9 miles out of there, especially, you know, if you backed this car down and, you know, you got 200 watts per mile, you could go, you get 10, 12 miles, which is significant. And that battery is only 50 pounds. So, I mean, it's almost like putting, a gallon of gas in your trunk, something like that. But, yeah, we ended up getting 2,683 watts out of that battery. So I'm going to go ahead and charge it up. And I think that's into this video, I think that battery did really, really well. Impressed with it. So it at least got its rated capacity. So it said 2560 and I got 2683 pulling it down to that voltage. So I don't know. Seems like a good battery. And you know, if you're watching, if you want to send me another one, I'll hook it up to my big boy inverter over there and could start powering freezers, refrigerators, whole bunch of stuff. So I don't know, hit like and subscribe if you like this. If you have some other ideas for how to use that battery, put it in the comments below, and catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.